Hello everyone, welcome to Miss Lee's class. Today we're going to learn how to solve application problems of Pythagorean relationship. Okay, so look at the warm-up question. A doorway is 2 meter high and 1 meter wide. So this is 1 meter and this is 2 meter. And we have a square piece of plywood has side length 2.2 meter. So this plywood, the side length is 2.2 meter. 2.2 meter. Obviously, it is larger. The side length is larger than the height of the doorway. So we're going to figure out if the plywood fit through the door or not. How do you know? Show your work. Okay, everyone. What do we have to do? So the plywood, the side length of the plywood is greater than the height of the door. To bring this plywood into the room, we have to tilt the plywood and check if it fits, if it can fit through the door, through this diagonal. Is that right, everyone? So we're going to find out the length of the diagonal of the door. And if it is, we're going to check if it is greater than 2.2 or less than 2.2. So let's find the diagonal. And if you look at this is a right triangle. Is that right? So let's draw the right triangle. So we know this is 2 meter and this is 1 meter. We're going to find the diagonal, the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse is this. And we're going to let this be C. Okay. Then the hypotenuse should be isolated. And 1 squared plus 2 squared should be C squared. Let's calculate it. 1 squared plus 2 squared is 1 plus 4 is C squared. Then C squared is 5. Then C is root 5, square root of 5. And let's see if square root of 5 is greater than 2.2 or less than 2.2 using your calculator. So square root of 5 is 2.23. If you round it to 2 decimal is 2.24. So this is 2.24 meters. The diagonal is 2.24 meter. So this is greater than 2.2. So this is greater than 2.2 meter. So therefore, yes, the plywood can fit through the door. Alright, so what you have to remember is always a squared plus b squared is h squared or c squared, the hypotenuse squared. And remember, the hypotenuse should be isolated. Okay? Alright, let's move on. Example 1. Marina helped her dad build a small rectangular table for her bedroom. So small rectangular table. And the tabletop has length 56 centimeter and width 33 centimeter. So 56 centimeter, the length, and 33 centimeter, the width. What is the length of the diagonal of the tabletop? Alright, everyone, the diagonal is the hypotenuse. So we're going to let this be C. Alright, we're going to start the question by defining your variable. So when you use a variable, you always need to define your variable. So let's write let C be the diagonal, the length of the diagonal, of the tabletop. Alright, everyone. if you look at this is a right triangle. And we're going to find C using the Pythagorean theorem. So I want you to pause the video and try this question by yourself first. Alright? Alright, let's do it together, everyone. Since C is the diagonal, since C is the hypotenuse, so we're going to isolate it. Remember, the hypotenuse should be always isolated. C squared is 33 squared plus 56 squared. Okay? Now we're going to use our calculator. So 33 squared plus 56 squared. And that is 4,225. So C squared is 4,225. And we're going to find C by taking the square root of 4,225. Then the square root of 4,225, sorry, is 65 centimeter. So the answer is 65. Example 2. Stephanie is planning a right triangular garden. So this is a garden and this is a right triangle. And she marked two sides that measure 24 centimeter, 25 centimeter. What is the length of side N? Alright, before we solve, we have to think about what the hypotenuse is. What is the hypotenuse? So hypotenuse is always the longest side facing the right angle. So 25. So this is the hypotenuse. And let's make an equation. 25 squared should be isolated because it's a hypotenuse. Then n squared plus 24 squared. Okay, now I want you to solve this problem by yourself. Go ahead, everyone. Alright, let's do it together. So we're gonna square 24. That is 576. 25 squared. So that is 625. And write it down. N squared plus 576, 625. And we need to find n squared. So we're going to isolate n squared. To do that, we're going to get rid of this. So plus 576. The opposite of plus is minus. We're going to do inverse operation. So let's subtract let's subtract 576 from both sides. Okay, then this will be gone. And we're going to have minus 576. And that is 49. So n squared is 49. Then n is square root of 49. And everyone, what's square root of 49? That is 7. So the answer is 7 centimeter. Since the diagram already has n here, I didn't really define n, but it is always better to define your variable. So I want you to write down somewhere here, let n be the unknown side lengths. Okay, let's move on. Anthony and Shalima are canoeing on a lake in Saskatchewan. There are two boat ramps on the lake here. So boat ramp A and boat ramp B. And how far is it by canoe between the boat ramps? Okay, so we know this is 1,500 meter and this is 800 meter. So we want to know the distance from the boat ramp A to boat ramp B. So let this be x, and we're gonna define our x. Let x be the distance between the boat ramp. Okay, so you're always going to start with the definition of your variable. So let x be the distance between the boat ramps. And if you look at this is a right triangle. And what's the hypotenuse, everyone? X is the hypotenuse. Okay, so now I want you to pause the video and try this problem. Alright, have you guys tried the problem? And we're gonna do it together. So since x is the hypotenuse, x should be isolated. X squared equals 1,500 squared plus 800 squared. Okay. All right, let's use your calculator. 1,500 squared plus 800 squared. Evaluate it, and that is 2,090,000. Then x is the square root of 2,090,000. Let's calculate it. So square root of then x is 1,700. Okay, so the answer is 1,700. How much farther is it for someone to travel by road from ramp A to ramp B than the canoe between the two ramps? So we know x is the distance between two ramps is 1,700 meter, and we're gonna compare the distance through the road here. So we have to add those two numbers. Okay, 1,500 plus 800, and that is, if you use your calculator, that is 2,300. Okay, let's compare those two numbers. And after that, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract to find the difference. Okay, so 2,300 minus 1,700, it's 600 meter. So the answer is 600 meter. Alright, everyone, that is it. Okay, start doing your homework. Thanks for watching, everyone.